And I've got to say, when we see patients taking Fortifeye Focus, I am seeing patients that have reduced subjective symptomology for many conditions, but mostly associated with the computers. I mean, let's face it, we're all living in a digital world these days, and we're all having an accommodative stress factor that's much higher than it was when I grew up. What I'm seeing in clinical practice, when patients take Fortifeye Focus, not only do they seem to have less dry eye symptomology, but they definitely have less eye fatigue. Neck hurts, vision fluctuates, eyes feel sandy, gritty, burn, tear, itch. A lot of these symptoms decrease dramatically and some resolve completely. Hey, I'm Dr. Michael Lange. We want to age as gracefully as possible, don't we? So is there enough evidence out there that proves that certain specific nutrients, ingredients, or supplements can enhance our skin, our joints, our hair, our nails? And there's a lot of great science that's come out recently with marine collagen tripeptides, riceramides, hyaluronic acid, and there's a new supplement called Dermaval. Well, we've taken all four of those and we've combined it in a supplement called Rejuvenate. 3 delicious flavors, chocolate, cherry vanilla, pink lemonade, and then we have it unflavored for those of you that want to just put it in your coffee in the morning. It's worth a try. I endorse it, obviously, 100%. If you don't like it, we'll give you money back. It's as simple as that. So check it out at Fortifeye.com.
Now, with your questions at 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. Here's your host, Dr. Michael Lange.
Okay, good morning and welcome to Ask the Doctor. Ask the Doctors this morning. I'm Dr. Michael Lange, your host. I've been hosting Ask the Doctor since April of 1993. I tell you, time flies when you're having fun. Remember, this is a live call-in show dedicated to you, the listener, the viewer. So no matter how simple or complicated your question is, we will try to answer it to the best of our abilities. So the phone number is 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. If you're new to the program, who's Dr. Lange? I'm a board-certified optometric physician, certified nutritional specialist, founder of Lange Eye Care and Associates, the Lange LASIK Centers back in the day, and of course, the Lange Eye Institute and Fortifeye Vitamins. My co-host for a multitude of years now is also no newbie to talk radio, and that is Dr. Susan Summerton. She hails from the Lange Eye Institute, and she helps out at Fortifeye Vitamins as well. She's a very knowledgeable doctor. She's also a certified nutrition specialist, optometric physician, and holds fellowships in 2 arenas of nutrition. So I'm going to take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Summerton. Good morning, Dr. Summerton.
Good morning, Dr. Lange, and good morning to all our listeners out there. Welcome to the Ask the Doctor radio show
off
today.
On Dr. Summerton, but we'll retrieve her in just a second. Anyway, give us a call, 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. I want to recap on last week. Tony was our co-host. I want to thank Tony for coming down and being a co-host last week. Tony is the one that went from 530 pounds to 280 pounds. And I have news. Now he's on his way to 270 pounds. So he has been on the Fortifeye Fit Meal now for about a week. Remember, Fortifeye Fit Meal is now available. So congratulations, Tony. He actually lost 9 pounds in 3 days on the Fortifeye Fit Meal. So it does work. I am taking the Fortifeye Fit Meal. I'm also down. I was down 16, 17, 18 pounds in 2 weeks now. So any of you that are thinking about or wanting to lose weight and you want the very latest in meal replacements that's designed to help you lose weight safely and help boost your immunity at the same time, this is the first functional meal replacement developed by doctors that's fully transparent and has nothing sourced from China. And so you learn more at fortifeye.com. That's Fortifeye, and go to the meal replacement section and go to fortifeye.com. And we're having a little fun here in the studio this morning. We're getting ready to retrieve Dr. Summerton in just 1 second. But the phone number for Fortifeye Vitamins is 866-503-9746. 866-503-9746. All right, Dr. Summerton, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Hallelujah.
I might have a little echo. I'm not sure if you can hear that or not, but good morning and welcome to all our listeners out there.
You're coming in loud and clear with no echo. And I was just mentioning you've been hosting the show with me for how long now?
It's probably been 4 years,
Wow.
5 years maybe.
Time flies when you're having fun. So we also had mentioned that Tony came in, and I was just congratulating Tony on his weight loss. It's pretty amazing. You know, when I saw Tony 2.5 years ago, he had profuse diabetic retinopathy. He's allowing me to talk about it. He's signed all the HIPAA forms. And out of control glaucoma. And I remember I told him that, Tony, if you don't change your ways, you're going to go blind soon and you're going to die shortly after. And that was enough to make him change his ways quickly. And now, like I said, he's a fat-burning, anti-aging, muscle-building machine from 530 to almost as 270 now yesterday morning. So that's pretty incredible, I think.
He did an amazing job. And he looked at it with the right mental attitude too, and just being mentally prepared and making those changes. He maintained that calorie deficit. He chose those nutrient dense foods, supplementing with the Fortify to make sure he was getting all the nutrients he needed while he was cutting back those calories. And he increased that physical activity and he focused on getting sleep, all that. And it made such a substantial difference to everything you said. And just overall, we all want a great life, and feeling good mentally and physically is the key to that. And it can be done. And Tony is that pure example of it.
Amen. He certainly is. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Fit Meal because the way I've developed it was to use the same exact meal, the Fit Meal, basically, for a meal replacement each day, but to do it at a different time. So have it for breakfast on Monday, lunch on Tuesday, supper on Wednesday, then Thursday, go back to having it on breakfast. And that way your body doesn't slow down the metabolism. You don't go into starvation mode that a lot of people do when they're fasting for long periods of time. And so there is some evidence now, and I'll let you chime in on it, about eating the same meal frequently and weight loss. It's kind of interesting.
It is interesting because you've heard both, and it's kind of hard to know what to do. But I know me with my protein shakes and now the fit meal, I do tend to eat a lot of the same foods. But this study, it was published in Health Psychology. It actually looked at that and saying if you stick to that same routine diet, does it help you lose more weight? And it actually did. They analyzed all the food logs and how consistent people with their calories day to day, and they found that that repetition works. Those people who ate the same foods more often, they lost more weight. So less variety, but more of those routine meals. Just as you said, adding that fit meal as one meal substitution per day, that helps with that steady calorie intake. And just you can, there's a little leeway in that, which was a little surprise in there. If you ate a little bit different on the weekends, that was still okay. The weight loss was still there, but having that repetition during the week. And why does it matter? We're not really sure, but one, it cuts down on you having to decide all the time what you're going to eat and spend that time. And then also, it just makes that healthy eating more automatic. You're automatically going to go for that healthy meal and you're going to avoid those kind of impulsive decisions on what you should eat that could affect that calorie intake. And it just gives you that good mindset.
Absolutely. So remember, weight loss is simple math. Not a lot of fat mathematicians out there. Remember, 3,500 calories burned is a pound. So if you consume a little less, eat a little less, exercise a little bit more, you can turn your body into a fat burning machine. Now, the Fortifeye Fit Meal, we've added 4 fat burners to help speed up your metabolism without being a stimulant. So we're not speeding up your heart rate. So that is chromium picolinate, Capsamax, CLA, and Ceylon cinnamon. So all those 4 really do help with the fat burning. It's kind of like a trick of the trade. And we've got a really cool fiber mixture in there using acacia fiber, apple pectin, and flaxseed fiber. And what the fiber does, once you drink the Fit Meal, people are concerned about being hungry and eating a lot afterwards. You actually feel full because it expands in your stomach. And there's some people that have been coming back to the office wanting their money back because they make the Fit Meal and they put it to shake it up, and then they drink half of it and they put the rest in the refrigerator to drink later. Well, if you do that, it's going to get very gelatinous because of the fiber, okay? So I would just drink half the scoop and drink it down if you can't drink the whole. So I think you found that out also, didn't you, Dr. Summerton?
I did, because sometimes when I choose to eat that for breakfast and I get to work and I start seeing patients, I hadn't quite finished my protein shake there and realized it was kind of like that. When you make that chia pudding, it gets kind of thick. The same thing happens from that fiber of making the shake. So if you don't mind it turning into more of a pudding, it's perfectly fine. But I suggest, like you did, you just drink it all in one go.
Right. So it will get gelatinous, but I did time it the other morning. I had it for breakfast Thursday morning, and I took a quick shower. My showers are pretty quick, brushed my teeth before I had the Fit Meal. And in 10 minutes, it still wasn't real thick and gelatinous. So as long as you drink it within 10 minutes, you're going to be fine. All right. Phone lines are open. If you got a question, give us a call. The consultation is free. This never replaces a medical evaluation or an eye evaluation. This is for educational purposes only. 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. I do want to welcome 3 new radio stations that I don't know if they start this week. I think they start next week. But that's WASG AM 540, FM 106.1 in Mobile, Alabama. That'll be from 8 to 9 Central Time. KKIM AM 1000, Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's 7 to 8. Is that Mountain Time? And then we got 9 to 10 WFAM AM 1050 and FM 98.9 in Augusta, Georgia. So all the golfers are going to be listening. So welcome those 3 stations to the Ask the Doctor network. Also, we're working on starting an Ask the Doctor podcast also. So we'll promote that on this, and the podcast will promote the talk show, the radio show. So we've already started a new design for the podcast, and I think the guys here at Salem Media are going to help with that design and the build up possibly. So we'll see. So that's kind of exciting, the podcast. So Dr. Summerton may be heard all over the world on 3 a.m. Ask the Doctor with Dr. Summerton.
We are growing and we really like helping our patients and our listeners, and it's a way to reach out to more people. And we are here. If you have questions today about eyes, nutrition, we're happy to help in any way we can.
Right. 877-969-8600, 877-969-8600. You can see Dr. Summerton or myself or Dr. Lori Caputi at the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages, Florida. So you can learn more at drmichaellange.com or langeeyecare.com. Also, follow me on Instagram. A lot of you are following me. The only real Dr. Michael Lange Instagram is Dr. Michael Lange _ It has a blue check. If it doesn't have a blue check, it's not me. There's a lot of fake Dr. Michael Lange Instagrams out there. So follow me on Instagram. A lot of you are watching me on that Instagram right now. A lot more watch me on that Instagram than the Fortifeye Vitamin Instagram. So we do have Fortifeye Vitamins Instagram page too. Those are the only 2 legitimate Instagram page. Fortifeye Vitamins Instagram, Dr. Michael Lange _ Instagram. All right, next week, we're going to have a welcome guest in our studio with us, and his name is Jay Cormier. And I did promote him last week, thinking it was going to be this week, but it's next week. So that's, I think, Saturday, April the 18th. He's going to be in the studio. He's the CEO of iDaptics Inc. And iDaptics is a smart pair of glasses. It zooms in up close, zooms in the distance. It's voice controlled, hands free. It reads text. It reads signs. It reads the computer screen for you for people that are vision impaired or even blind. It has object recognition, so it tells you what's in front of you if you're walking. It has AI assistant named Eva. So Eva will tell you what the stocks are trading at, call your wife, call 911, do whatever you want. So pretty cool technology. People that are vision impaired from macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, whatever it may be, a lot of you do listen to this program. And if you're vision impaired, there's not a lot out there. There's closed circuit televisions, video magnifiers, handheld magnifiers, but iDaptic has taken it to the next level. They really have. It's smart glasses. It's like a meta pair of glasses on massive steroids. And I've had quite a few patients that have benefited from this. So, Jay Cormier will be coming down and we'll be discussing this in detail. And it is nice to be able to help people that are vision impaired that have been told by their doctors that there's nothing that can be done to help them, isn't it?
It is, and it's really taking advantage of that remaining vision that they have. If you have any macula, that's your central vision damage, or you know someone that happens to, they still have some functional vision off to the side in that peripheral vision. So this kind of software, it enhances and magnifies and moves those images to that functional side vision despite that damage to their central vision.
Yep. So remember, tune in next week. Have your questions ready for the expert Jay Cormier talking about iDaptic's low vision device, low vision technology. So next week will be all about how we can help the vision impaired. And we'll talk about some other things, nutrition for macular degeneration. Maybe we even talk about photobiomodulation therapy, light frequencies that may be beneficial as well. All right, let's go to the phones and let's go to the first call of the morning. I think it's Daniel in Kansas City. Daniel, thanks for holding. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Lange. This is your famous homeless rock star helicopter pilot calling in. And I was going to ask you and Dr. Summerton, I've been reading a whole lot about DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, and some of it's been quite interesting, but I'd like to know your professional take on that.
All right. So, you got to be careful with DMSO. A lot of people are thinking they can use it to reverse cataracts and they're putting it in their eye. And I would be very, very apprehensive. And I would say no to that. The problem with DMSO, if there's any kind of imperfection or any chemical or anything on your skin, it's going to absorb into the body. It's going to be like a system to turbocharge it into your system. So, people use it for, joint pain, trigger finger. That is something that I have seen DMSO work on. And I've seen some actual studies, legitimate studies for people that have trigger finger. But I've had a lot of patients, contacting me and saying, look, I've seen these posts on, X and on Instagram and Facebook, how it's a miracle cure for cataracts. It is not. It will not reverse your cataracts. And who knows what it could do. It may do more harm than good. So I would be careful with it. If you want to try it for trigger finger, I think there's some legitimate science out there and for pains and joints. But, you can't believe everything you hear. Dr. Summerton and I were talking about DMSO, I don't know, months ago. I'm going to let her chime in a little bit about it.
Right, and I believe it's only FDA approved for topical use as
Right.
well. And I think relating to us and the cataracts, there are different kinds of cataracts. When we see cataracts in your eyes, there's different reasons for why they have come. And that's the one study they did on DMSO was just for this type of cataract called cortical cataract, which had little bit of effect on just that particular kind. But you can also have more than one type of cataract. Actually, most people do. When we look at people's eyes, there's several different type going on. The most common, nuclear sclerosis, by far, we see that on almost everybody over the age of 60. It didn't have any effect on that whatsoever. And this was in lab studies with like rats or rabbits, not on humans. And we do tend to see some of those studies work on rats, but then they don't translate into humans, especially they're such high metabolic and we are different and we process toxins different. And plus, we are daytime creatures, rats are nighttime creatures. So we see different results. So, unfortunately, it's not the solution to cataracts, but we definitely want to look and make sure everything's healthy. But again, when it's not approved and we really haven't seen evidence, that's not something we can rely on or suggest.
Right.
Oh, that works for me. And I just wanted, because I was interested in that DMSO for, like the aches and pains. I just want to give a shout out to the Lange Eye Institute and Dr. Lange there. You sorted me out with Dr. Ireland over there at Village's her eye clinic over there. I got my first cataract done Thursday, and I'm doing the next one that's coming up Thursday. And just, even though my vision isn't clear yet, the difference that I can see in colors between the eye that's got the cataract removed and the IOL or multifocal lens put in, and my eye that's yet to be done, it's incredible. I am just so pleased with everything that you turned me on to, and coming to the Lange Eye Institute. You and the whole gang over there are absolute rock stars.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the kind words and the feedback. And yeah, taking that cataract out is really a godsend. And you're seeing the way you did when you were a kid again. And once the other, both cataracts are removed, it's amazing how much better your binocularity is and your depth perception. And you being a pilot, as you well know, it's crucial to have good vision and good depth perception.
Yeah, currently I'm grounded because of getting the cataracts done, and the FAA has a 12-week wait on the multifocal lenses, but I'm still working otherwise, and I'm looking forward to getting my medical back and going back to flying, because I certainly have not had enough flying yet in my life after 40 years of flying.
You got it. You're just beginning. All right. Thanks for the call, Daniel.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. You're
It
listening
is
to
great. We do hear many, many, many success stories after cataract surgery. And because cataracts take so long to develop, people almost get used to that less amount of light and that blur. So when after a quick 10-minute surgery, that lens that has the cataract comes out and is replaced by a new clear lens, that's one thing we hear all the time, like you mentioned, more vivid colors, that sharper details, because vision is all about getting light into your eye. So you've been looking through a filter, and then all of a sudden, all that light can get back through and it just brightens everything up. But it does take some getting used to. I imagine that's why they make you wait to fly, because it's like having a completely different prescription all of a sudden that you have to get used to. So the eyes are part of the brain. So there's that brain adaptation too that needs to happen after.
And there's two things that I recommend after cataract surgery, and that's a good pair of polarized sunglasses, all right? Because you have a little bit more glare after cataract surgery. So investing in a good name brand pair of sunglasses like Maui Jim or Ray-Ban or Oakley or whatever. Maui Jim is one of my favorite sunglasses because they also incorporate blue filtering mechanisms into their sunglasses. And then also either A, eating more dark green leafy vegetables, orange bell peppers, goji berries, for the lutein and zeaxanthin to increase macular pigment density to help protect from blue light damage. Remember, the cataract was actually absorbing not only the UV light, but the blue light from the digital world that we live in. So eating more dark green cooked vegetables, especially baby leaf kale, orange bell peppers, goji berries, even eggs and pistachios is going to be beneficial. And if you don't want to do that, then certainly, we developed the Fortifeye Focus. And Fortifeye Focus or Fortifeye Focus and Brain, I usually recommend this to everybody. It's sort of like an insurance policy after cataract surgery because we don't want to get blue light damage. We don't want to increase our risk of developing macular degeneration after cataract surgery. And I've been doing this a long time. I mean, when I've calculated, I've seen probably over 200,000 patients over the last 33 years. That's a lot. So I got a lot of experience. And I have seen patients, when we adjust their diet or put them on the right supplements, I've seen, their aging process in their eye and their entire body actually slow down. So consider Fortifeye Focus or Fortifeye Focus and Brain or something similar to that. You can go to the website at fortifeye.com. You can see the actual nutrients that are in it, the ingredients, and find something similar. It doesn't have to be Fortifeye. Of course, I'm a little bit biased. Remember, nothing in our nutrients come from China. So I always recommend looking for name brand trademarked nutrients. So if it's lutein, MacuLZ or Lutamax 2020 or Fluoroglow and astaxanthin, I like Astaril the best. If it doesn't say next to it, that's a generic compound and chances are it's coming out of China. And I just don't know about nutrients coming out of China right now. That's my personal opinion. I would stay away. You do pay a little bit more if it's not coming from China. So that's why a lot of people get their ingredients, a lot of companies from China, because it's dirt cheap. And I don't like that. I want the best quality in our supplements. So that's kind of our goal, to create the best supplements out there for our body. So right science, right ingredients, right for you is sort of our motto. Remember, you can check all this out at fortifeye.com or call toll free. I'll give you this number twice because, believe it or not, some of you do not have computer access and you're listening to this and you have the dial phone still, or the push button phone. So you do use the phones. There's nothing wrong with that. You'll probably live longer. So the phone number for Fortifeye Vitamins is 866-503-9746. That's 866-503-9746. I see somebody chiming in on one of our messages here, wanting to know about beetroot for macular degeneration. We'll expand on that in just a second. So we had talked a few weeks ago, Dr. Summerton, about steps, how simply by getting more steps, it can decrease your risk of death. And I think it was 2,500 steps decreases your all causes of mortality by 8%. But if you went up to 8,700 steps, you decreased risk by 60% for dying premature death, I guess. So 8,700 steps, you don't have to get 10,000 steps. But now there's another study in natural medicine. It's a 14-year study talking about steps and cognitive decline. Can you expand a little bit on that? So not only if we do more steps are we going to decrease the risk of death, but we're going to be a little smarter and less chances of dementia.
Right. And those researchers really focused on those daily step counts to prove that they were associated with that slower cognitive decline in people that were kind of at the beginning stages. So when they went to the doctor, they already had elevated amyloid, and that's that sticky protein that accumulates in Alzheimer's disease. So this was actually even at the very early stages. Just by increasing those steps, it gave a protective effect. So they had a slower buildup of what they measured, tau, and that's that toxic protein that drives that cognitive damage. So they were able to take them, most of them started about 3,000 steps, and they moved them closer to 7,000 steps a day. And that actually lowered that decline 40 to 54%
Wow.
over 9 years, which that is huge because we all know Alzheimer's is a difficult disease to deal with, to treat for family members. It affects everyone. So simply by making that steps increase to that 7,000, 8,000 mark, you're really going to have a significant difference on your brain health and help prevent the Alzheimer's from getting worse.
So all of us can try to get, 7 to 8,000 steps a day. All right. 8,700 is the goal to decrease death by 60%. And then, like she said, reduction in cognitive decline is dramatic. So we all need to walk a little bit more, get one of those devices that actually counts the steps. And so talking about ways to slow down cognitive decline, we also have spoken about this in the past, resistance training. So, doing some bands or dumbbells or going into the gym and doing some weightlifting can decrease mortality, maximum risk reduction by 27% if you just exercise for 60 minutes a week. That's 10 minutes, 6 times a week. Who can't do that? And another study showed that resistance exercise for just 2 times a week for 6 months also protects against Alzheimer's and dementia. So combining resistance training and steps, you're going to live longer and have less cognitive decline. So that's really pretty simple, Dr. Summerton. 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day, and then exercise at least 2 times a week, or 60 minutes a week. I mean, most people
Correct.
can do that.
Most of us, even us with busy schedules, you can fit that in. You just have to make it part of your routine. And I think when we say resistance training, we kind of mean strength training. So that's like lifting weights, whether it's dumbbells or barbells, using those resistance bands or kind of like big rubber bands, or even using your own body weight, like push ups or squats, or getting down there on the floor doing like a plank exercise, and of course the weight machines at the gym. But it's just finding what works for you in your schedule and just setting the time aside for it and making it part of your goal each week.
Yep. So get out, do a little exercise, and do a little bit in the sun. Don't be afraid of the sun. Don't get sunburned. A little sun is great for the vitamin D and the fresh air. All right. Phone lines are open 877 969 8600. That's 877 969 8600. Talking a little bit about cognitive decline and nutrition. So we have a few supplements that I've seen work on patients and work on my own mother and many, many friends. So we developed something called Fortifeye Focus and Brain, and that's a combination of the nutrients we talked about: lutein, zeaxanthin, astaxanthin, and then cognizine, which is a trademark patented form of acetylcholine that can help with working memory. It can help reduce cognitive decline as you mature. So also the lutein, zeaxanthin, and astaxanthin not only crosses the blood-retinal barrier, but it crosses the blood-brain barrier as well, helping with inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. So Focus and Brain, made by Fortifeye. I really do endorse it for helping bring the proper nutrition to the retina and the brain that you're not getting in your typical diet. So check it out at fortifeye.com. Also, there's some evidence that curcumin, in the right form of curcumin, may have some abilities at helping reduce cognitive decline. And we think maybe because it helps reduce beta amyloid plaque in the brain. So we do know that it can reduce lipofuscin in the retina. So that's a good thing. So curcumin isn't a bad idea to sprinkle some turmeric on your food or take a good curcumin. The problem with most curcumins on the market, they're not very bioavailable. So they add biopreme or black pepper extract. And now studies show that's not the best thing in the world for your liver and the gastric mucosal lining. So we have one called Next Gen Curcumin, made by Fortifeye, that uses curcugen. And curcugen is the only oleoresin food grade curcumin on the market. And so it uses all of the ingredients in the turmeric root, not just the curcumin. It uses the polysaccharides and the oleoresins. And like I said, they made it food grade, very good for you. So, and men, for their prostate, there's some studies out there using curcugen for helping nutrify the prostate. And all men want that. So think about that also. Fortifeye Next Gen Curcumin at fortifeye.com. All right, phone lines are open. 877 969 8600. 877 969 8600. Let's answer that question from somebody here on Instagram or Facebook. Chimed in and wants to know, Dr. Lange, is beetroots good for macular degeneration? I'm going to give my spiel on it first. So beetroot is good for you because it has it produces nitrous oxide. It boosts nitric oxide. So that improves blood flow. It causes vasodilation of the arteries. So that improves circulation to the retina and other parts of the body. It improves oxygen delivery. So it supports your vascular system. So, yeah, I mean, beets can be good for you. I don't really like concentrated beet juice because there's too much sugar. But if you eat a beet, you know, I think for most people it's going to be fine because they do have antioxidants, polyphenols, something called betalains in it. There's no study out there proves it's going to really be beneficial for macular degeneration that I know of. But here's the big problem with beets. And anybody that's had a kidney stone, I would recommend not doing beets because beets can increase your risk of kidney stones. I had one kidney stone in my life, and my promise is to never have another one. And I used to take beets and spinach and juice them together. I'll never do that anymore because spinach is the highest amount of oxalates, and beets and almonds are second highest. So there's something probably better for you than beets for macular degeneration. Believe it or not, it's watermelon. This is great post-recovery after working out. Watermelon is very high in L-citrulline. That's an amino acid that also increases nitric oxide the way beets do, but improves blood flow. It's amazing for hydration. Doesn't have any oxalates. It's kidney friendly. Remember, potassium and magnesium, small amounts of minerals, and a little bit of carbs. And you add a little pink Himalayan sea salt to the watermelon. It's perfect for hydrating after being out on the golf course, pickleball court, or racing motocross, or whatever is causing you to sweat a lot. And the good thing about this, it's high glycemic index, but it's low glycemic load. So that means it's diabetic friendly. It's like the perfect food. So watermelon is great for you. I think it's better for you than the beets, especially if you have a history of kidney stones. That's my spiel, and I'm sticking to it. Dr. Summerton, what do you think?
I agree. And the study that I know of was studying improving vegetable nitrates in your diet, which, like you said, beets, but it also included spinach, and that did lower the risk of developing macular degeneration. But was it the beets or was it the greens from the spinach? Now, I would say for beets in your eyes, eating the beet greens, the leafy tops of the beets, that has the lutein and zeaxanthin that we know makes a substantial difference in protecting that macula, that central vision pigment from damage. But again, like you mentioned, you have to be careful when you increase those nitrates in your diet because they have those high oxalates that can contribute to those kidney stones. So, like you said, you don't really want to do too much of it if you're prone to the kidney stones. And it's
Right.
like anything, you don't really want to do too much of anything. It's keeping it in balance.
Now, those of you that have to have spinach and beets and almonds and beet tops, and you can actually eat a little goat cheese with it or manchego cheese, and that can bind to the oxalates, therefore reducing the chance of them causing kidney stones. So maybe cream spinach, and add some goat cheese in it, and that makes the spinach a little bit better. So think about that. All right, we're going to the phones. Let's go to Charles in Gainesville. Charles, thanks for holding, and good morning.
Hey, good morning. Really enjoy your program. I currently am using your green food and the super protein in a drink to replace one meal. Is a new product supplementing this, or should I, after I use it all up, then switch over?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Charles. And the new Fortifeye Fit Meal is the new generation of that. And it has everything that organic blue-green superfood has in it. It has the adaptogenic mushrooms. It has all of that, the enzymes and the probiotics. And it actually has more protein than the protein by itself. Plus, it has the fiber. It has the fat burners. It has the prebiotics, the postbiotics. And it has some extracts from pomegranate, from cranberry, from tart cherry for lowering inflammation. So it's really better, right? I'm not trying to say don't take the other, but I don't think you really need both. This has everything in one. So you take it in water, shake it up, have it once a day, and I think you'll find that you're doing even better.
Okay, I have a lot of the protein. Could I add that protein to your new product?
You could, absolutely, because the new product has 25 grams of protein, and this is a big problem in our country. People aren't getting enough protein. Remember, if you're exercising, you should try to get your body weight in grams of protein. If you weigh 200 pounds, that's 200 grams of protein. And the problem is a lot of people, when they get that much protein, they're getting enormous amount of calories as well. The good thing about this, it only has 200 calories for 25 grams of protein. But yeah, you could add a scoop to it, and then you're getting 45 grams of protein, which is perfect for a meal. Yeah. So you're getting those macros in your daily diet. Absolutely.
All right. Sounds good. I am going to definitely try it.
All right, Charles. You have a great day, and hang in there.
Thank you. Bye.
You're listening to Ask the Doctors, Dr. Michael Lange and Dr. Susan Summerton, both of the Lange Eye Institute, and Fortifeye Vitamins. If you got a question, give us a call at 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. I also want to mention, if you go to the Fortifeye website, there's a science section next to all the supplements, all right? And you can actually click on the science section, and it tells you why we have particular nutrients at what ratios, and it shows you a lot of the studies. So there is proof in the pudding. Everything that we do is evidence-based. We don't just willy-nilly throw something all together. And remember, full transparency. And I've told people to do this. Go to the website and type in, functional meal replacements, and then look at all those out there. I'm not going to mention the names, but most of them have a blend. They might call it a proprietary blend. They don't tell you what's in it. They tell you there's 80 different nutrients in it, but they don't tell you how much. And they certainly don't tell you where those nutrients come from. If you go to our website at fortifeye.com and go to any of our supplements, but especially the new Fortifeye Fit Meal, and you scroll down, you'll see we tell you where every ingredient comes from, all the vegetables and all the fruits and all the extracts, and you'll see none of it is coming out of China. The same thing with our creatine. We have a product we developed a few years ago that's gone really big. It's Fortifeye Pure Creatine, MyHMB, and Vitamin D. And there's many studies that have shown this is a synergistic effect at helping promote strength, muscle, endurance, and cognitive ability at just about any age. And Dr. Summerton, I think, I'm recommended to a lot of my elderly patients now. We used to think creatine was just for people that are in the gym, but now we know it's really good for women. It's good for the geriatric population. So it's really something for all ages, isn't it?
It is, especially when you mention as women, we don't store as much creatine as men do. And then for really the elderly population, even before, there's so much information now on metabolism of your energy of your brain cells. So it helps give that energy to your muscles, but it also helps give the energy to your brain cells, which that can improve such things as like short-term memory, your reasoning, your thinking, your processing speed. And basically, the more kind of stress you're under, the more you need that help. So, aging is a stress, just stress in work, stress if you haven't had enough sleep. There's another study if you have had jet lag, it helps get over that jet lag faster as far as your thinking and cognition, too. So it has many benefits just because it's giving that brain energy as well. And we do want it because we wanting it go to the brain. So we want less toxins, less contamination, and we want absorbable. So creatine monohydrate is the one form that's studied the most, but we mentioned sourcing, and that's why we use that Creapure from Germany because it's 99.9% pure, and that's tightly controlled. And if you're putting those into your body, and it's crossing into your brain, we want to make sure that's as pure as we can get.
Right. So Pure creatine, if you're taking creatine, make sure it says Pure on it. Like Dr. Summerton said, it's the purest. It's German, the only creatine made in Germany. All other creatine is made in China. And a lot of you will chime in later today and say, no, mine's made in the USA. Well, they might be packaged in the United States, but the country of origin of the creatine is actually China. Trust me, I know this industry. So if you're going to buy creatine, buy Pure creatine. If you buy an HMB, buy MyHMB. It's the best. And we've combined MyHMB with Pure creatine. The combination works at helping burn fat, build muscle, strength, help cognitive ability. And then we add vitamin D to polish it all off. So check that out at fortifeye.com. And what I do, it's a super meal. When I have my Fortifeye Fit Meal every day now, I have it as one meal replacement. I add a scoop of the Pure creatine, MyHMB, to it, and I add one scoop of the unflavored or the chocolate. I like the chocolate, unflavored or the chocolate Rejuvenate. And that's like an amazing anti-aging meal. So you've got Fortifeye Fit Meal combined with the Rejuvenate, combined with the Pure creatine. There is nothing else. I mean, everything is covered in all the bases. And, I'm feeling pretty good at 64, 63, 64. I don't know, 9:15, 61. Time flies. So let me give you the phone numbers again. If you got a question, give us a call. 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. You can come and get any of these nutrients in Ocala at the Lange Nutrition Center. The Lange Nutrition Center is my old Lange Eye Care building. It's a 2-story building right on State Road 200. And it says Lange Nutrition on the sign. You go up the elevator. First door on the right is the Lange Nutrition Center. Also, Reboot has moved out and opened a new state-of-the-art facility in Ocala. So now we have about 3,000, 4,000 square feet. I'm not sure how many square footage it is upstairs for rent, already built out, beautiful. So it's a really good deal on rent. You can talk to Tammy, my wife, if you're interested in renting that space right on State Road 200. And then we have the Fortifeye Nutrition Center here in Clearwater, right there on McMullen Booth Road in the Bayside Bridge Plaza next to Publix. It's Fortifeye Nutrition Center. We have lots of vitamins there. We have the Wata water at both locations as well. And of course, all the Fortifeye vitamins are at the Fortifeye Nutrition Center. Let me give you the phone number for the Lange Eye Institute if you want to see Dr. Summerton or myself for an eye exam, or Dr. Caputi. The phone number for the Lange Eye Institute is 352-753-4014. That's 352-753-4014. You can learn more at langeyecare.com or drmichaellang.com. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at drmichaellang_. That's the only one, drmichaellang_. All right, I want to talk something about artificial flavors. A lot of you are consuming things because you think it's good for you. It's less fattening, and you might be diabetic and you don't want sugar. And you're consuming a lot of beverages and protein powders that have sucralose in them, or asulfide potassium or aspartame. You know, these probably aren't the best thing in the world, we're finding out now, for people disrupting the microbiome and maybe causing liver problems, Dr. Caputi. I mean, Dr. Summerton these type of sweeteners have been around for eons now, and they really should be pulled off the market, in my opinion. What do you think?
Right. A lot of people, especially diabetics, they really run to those artificial sweeteners. But like you said, that can impair all those good bacteria in your gut. And it also can impair that insulin sensitivity. That's the reason a lot of diabetics think they're taking it for, is to help that. But they've actually proven now that not only does it impair that, but it actually promotes a fatty liver. And you've heard of the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, although it has changed to a new name, but it's not coming to me. They changed the name of it. But they did find in that recent study that, and it's across countries, not just in the US, that there's that link between those artificial sweetened beverages and increasing that risk of that fatty liver disease. And we all know how important our liver is, and we want to keep it as healthy as possible. I know when we look at sweeteners, we're looking more at the stevia, and even allulose is a great one for diabetics. A little bit harder to find, but it's out there. Maybe not quite as sweet as you're used to, but just enough. If you're craving something sweet and you want it in your beverage, you can add that and know that you're still getting a healthier way of sweetening it.
Absolutely. And when we develop supplements, especially powders that have flavors to them, I mean, we work a long time, and Dr. Summerton has helped me with this for many years now, and the entire staff at the Lange Eye Institute and Fortify Vitamins has. You know, we don't use anything artificial, and sometimes it's a task. It's difficult to make these things taste good. We don't want any aftertaste. We don't want it to be too sweet, not sweet enough. We don't want any chemical aftertaste. And so we use stevia. We use stevia M. That's Riboside M. We use fermented rice sugar. The fermentation process removes all the sugar and keeps it sweet. Like she said, allulose, certain forms of monk fruit. So we use all these and try to get things to taste really good. It was really an act of Congress to get the Fortifeye Fit Meal to taste good, because there's so much stuff in it that can be very bitter. But we used a combination of a fermented rice sugar and allulose, and the flavor is absolutely amazing. It's chocolate and vanilla. So once again, if you're wanting to lose weight, or you just want a quick anti-aging functional meal based by a lot of true science, consider the Fortifeye Fit Meal. All right. It can be a meal replacement each day. And I would urge you to go to the website, look at the science, read up on it, and then compare it to anything on the market. I don't want to brag, but there isn't anything even close to it. So check it out, Fortifeye Fit Meal at fortifeye.com. And the Fortifeye phone number is 866-503-9746. That's 866-503-9746, and fortifeye.com. We don't have time to talk about it, I don't think, but saffron is a bioactive compound, and maybe you can just chime in quickly. I think there's some new studies that talk about it can help your mood, balance your mood now, right?
Right, and that saffron is a very expensive spice, but it can really affect your emotional well-being, and it's a safe herb to take. And there's definitely kind of a lot of mechanisms around it, improving that brain-derived neurotrophic factor that we
Mhm.
talked about. But we can sure go into it a little bit on the next show if people
Yep.
have more questions about it. But it also is in one of our Fortify supplements too.
Right. The saffron is in both Fortify Next Gen Macular Defense and in the Fortify Complete. We'll expand on that more in the near future. Also, the Lange Institute just got some really cool handmade Dutch frames and Swedish frames in at the Lange Institute. They just arrived. Gorgeous. Oh, Dr. Summerton, we got 8 seconds. Tell everybody goodbye.
Have a great day. Listen to that body. Go enjoy the rest of it. Move your body a little and hydrate. We'll talk
Thank
soon.
you. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dr. Michael Lange, helping keep America fit and healthy. See ya.